Psalm 131:2 We should come to him with the faith of weaned children. Verse 2 of Psalm 131 reads, Surely, I have composed and quieted my soul, like a weaned child rests against his mother, my soul is like a weaned child within me. If you haven't read this carefully, you may find it to be an imperfect metaphor for the child of God. The passage pictures a weaned child, and not a child in the process of weaning, for that child will cry and fret, they are restless and impatient longing for its mother's milk. But the weaned child will find comfort in the presence of the mother, contented because their soul is weaned from seeking to satisfy the desires of the flesh in selfish ambition. Understood like this, the metaphor is very apropos to our own transformation from a child of the world, who was invariably seeking to satisfy the desires of the flesh, is now transformed, like being born again, and becoming a child of the King. As we begin to mature, our soul no longer yearns worldly distractions, although it may still find attraction to what was previously appealing to our flesh. However, we are now enabled to make a choice. Our soul will become quiet and settled, yielding to the leadership of Christ as we nestle in his arms, nourished by the Word of God, and washed in the water of the Word. We find our rest and contentment only in him. David was a man embellished with pomp and ceremony, but at the writing of this psalm, the matured king of Israel has become as meek and lowly as a little child, and able to now write, My soul is like a weaned child. Perhaps this is the station in life that Jesus desires all of us to come to in terms of the family of God. You may recall his statement in Matthew 18:2-4, Then he called a child to him and had him stand among them. 3 I assure you, he said, unless you are converted and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. For therefore, whoever humbles himself like this child, this one is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Not only was this a chastisement for the quarreling apostles, but it is equally apropos for you and me today if we are a child of God. We mustn't allow our pride and egos to get caught up in the sin of personal aggrandizement. Let our joy spring up as a child weaned from the ways of the world and prepared for the fruitful work ahead.